All right, good morning. We're over here at Chesapeake Fire Station number 5 in Great Bridge, and we're talking grill safety this morning. So we've got a setup here of a few different kinds of grills. We've got one that uses your standard propane bottle. This model right here has an actual natural gas connection that connects right to a natural gas outlet on the house, and then your standard charcoal grill over here on this side. And what we want to talk with grill safety is almost a before, during, and an after type thing. So before we grill, we want to make sure that our grills are clean. And we want to look at these. As you take a look here, you can see these grates are nice and clean here. I mean, you're going to have some grease and residual on there, but below the grates, we also want to make sure is nice and clean. So you can see this grill hasn't been used in a while, but there's no grease and heavy buildup on there. That's going to prevent any kind of flare-ups or any kind of grease fires that we might have. At the beginning of the season especially, it's very important to kind of do a check on our hoses and connections. So this isn't something you'd have to do every time, but at least at the beginning of the season, this is just a water bottle that's got some liquid dish detergent and water in it. So if I were to do something like this, and this were hooked up, I would just spray these connections just like this with this soapy water mixture and the connection that's on here. And then I'd turn that on. If I had any bubbles coming out of there, I would know that I either had some pinholes maybe in my hose, or I had some kind of a loose connection, and I want to get that resolved before I use these grills. It's important that I highlight the difference between a flare-up and a grease fire. A grease fire is when your actual grill and the area underneath are actually on fire. And a lot of times, many of us have probably seen that when we walk outside and we leave our grill unattended for some reason. We walk outside and there's just black, heavy smoke pouring out from the bottom of it. We want to obviously avoid that at any cost. But if that happens, that's where our fire extinguisher comes in handy. So always make sure you got a fire extinguisher handy, ready to go. And if you do have one of those grill fires like that, a grease fire, standard practice just like in an oven, all right? We're gonna close this cover safely if we can. You may have to go to the back side and push it closed. We're gonna turn our burners off, call 911, get the fire department on the way, and then get your fire extinguisher ready to go, just in case you do have to fight that fire. So, but we want to avoid a grease fire. So, one way to do that is obviously cleaning. The second way is making sure that you don't leave your grill unattended. You're much more likely to catch those flare-ups before they turn into a grease fire if you're actually outside maintaining the grill. Avoid wearing any kind of loose clothing that may catch fire. When we talk about distance, be aware of any awnings that are hanging over. Be aware of any low-lying tree limbs, deck rails, things like that. You don't want this grill up against anything that is combustible that may catch on fire. The reason for that is if you do have a grease fire, that's going to also catch on fire. That's going to extend into your house or into your trees, and you're going to have a big problem on your hands you're going to need the fire department to help deal with. So the last thing that we're going to cover is charcoal grills. And these are things that people think don't really have a lot of hazards because it's not a large fire load. It's not a big fire. It's, slow and low is how we cook with that. But charcoal briquettes can be very dangerous for a few different reasons. And the number one reason to that is that they have the potential of for lighter fluids, how you light those. So once it's lit with that lighter fluid, you never add more lighter fluid to an existing fire. You're going to get a flare up, you're going to get that fire going. So avoid doing that at all costs. Follow the manufacturer's instructions, put the appropriate amount on there, light it, and leave it alone. The next thing we want to make sure is when we dispose of those charcoal briquettes, and you can see I've got a metal ash can here. And the sole purpose of this is simply to put the charcoal briquettes, when they've reached a good temperature, into there and let them sit, all right? So let your charcoal briquettes cool down, put them into this ash can. That'll allow you to safely add water to it, and then you can dispose of them appropriately. And that kind of covers our grill safety that for the month of May as we kind of start getting back into grilling season. And if you have any questions about any of these things, you can certainly call your fire prevention office. And the last thing that's worth mentioning is, as a general rule, there is prohibited cooking under tents or canopies or on exterior balconies. There are some exceptions to that. You'll need to contact your local fire marshal's office to find out what those restrictions are and what those exceptions are. Speaking for the Chesapeake Fire Department on grill safety, I'm Lieutenant Anthony Barracat, Assistant Fire Marshal with the Fire Prevention Office.